Good evening, Ridge Raiders fans everywhere, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Week 11 recap video for the 2022 season. I am your host of the media tonight. I am pumped. I had a good week. Good defeated evil this week. We'll get to that when we cover the Week 11 matchups. Also, before we go any further, I want to point out that we are sponsored this week. That's right, by Domino's Pizza. Thank you to team owner of Avoid the Noid for sending this to me. I don't know what kind it is because the receipt's all messed up, but it looks like some kind of Supreme. So good. So good. Let's get right into it. Before we go any further, however, we need to start with the disclaimer. This is a comedy, okay? The opinions expressed herein are probably not my own, nor the individual even making the comment at the time. If you are my employer, a future employer, a previous employer, a neighbor, a friend, a coworker, someone I know, nobody I know, and you're offended by this, stop watching, okay? If you're easily offended, if you need safe places, if you consider yourself to be a snowflake or someone that the world gives a shit about, this video is not for you. We're here to talk trash, sometimes say intelligent things, and talk about fantasy football. So again, if you find yourself offended by this, it's a comedy. Get over it. All right, results from Week 11 had your worst nightmare falling to the Gender Unicorn, in which was a close game, went into Monday night. Good showing by your worst nightmare, however, putting up 112 points to the Gender Unicorn's 123. Missing My Young Ho put up the league low for the week, putting up 95.52 points to Suckadicka's 121. Jack's Jags defeated the Roster Baiters 117 to 109. Nut and Butt Sacks put up the league's high score for the week. Not a bad showing from the rear end of the standings, 129.4 to Avoid the Noid's 100. That's the second loss in a row for Avoid the Noid, and we'll talk about next week here in a minute, but they got to turn the ship around or they're going to run into that iceberg and pull a Titanic. All right, Social Justice Warrior beat out the Booty Lickers. In what has to be a season low for the Booty Lickers, Social Justice Warrior put up 111.38 points to the Booty Lickers' 110.52 points. That's a small difference of 0.86 points between the two of them, and that represents another loss to that family in which the Booty Lickers have had their gender reassigned and now had to go get woke. No one enjoys that. All right, and in the game of the week, as I mentioned, the media defeated Dynasty Reimagined in a nail-biter that went all the way into Monday night, 115 to 102. War damn Eagle. All right, that brings your standings after 11 weeks to Avoid the Noid, still holding on to the number one spot somehow with the loss. Social Justice Warrior in second, Missing My Young Ho in third, Suckadicka, Booty Lickers, and Jack's Jags rounding out the top six. Dynasty Reimagined, the media, Gender Unicorn, Roster Bears, Nut and Butt Sacks, and your worst nightmare still in the caboose spot, bringing in the rear, which that's where I like to be. You know what I mean? All right, Week 12 matchups. You got the media going up against your worst nightmare. Booty Lickers plays Dynasty Reimagined in what should be a good game. They really hate each other, so hopefully there's some nice trash talking going on come Sunday. Jack's Jags plays the Gender Unicorn. Nut and Butt Sacks goes up against Social Justice Warrior. Roster Baiters play Suckadicka. And in the game of the week, Missing My Young Ho goes up against Avoid the Noid. Now here you're going to have Missing My Young Ho try to jump from third into one of the top two spots, trying to get that bye coming into the playoffs. And of course, Avoid the Noid trying to avoid a third loss in a row, which would cause him to tumble down the standings. That's your game of the week. It's going to definitely be a good one, worth watching all the way through Monday night's matchup. There you have it. First team owner comment this week comes from Missing My Young Ho, who, strangely enough, sent this to me last week before this week's game. I'm going to go ahead and read it because, you're nice to people that suck. It's just, they can't help it. Been a tough season as most of my players have been average at best. Trades everyone has accused me of being corrupt. However, no one sits in this manager's shoes. Players that don't perform and no hope of finishing in a different position, much less the playoffs, working towards next year as a major rebuild again for my failure of a team. The one thing we still have as a goal is to beat one more of you jack-offs just to embarrass you, and everyone else in the league can make fun of you for losing to such a shitty team. The question is, which one will it be? This week looks very intriguing. Genderless Unicorn seems a likely candidate, but they could be more likely candidates in the last few weeks. Just remember, your worst nightmare is a losing team, so bring your A game. Well, as we know now, he lost to the Gender Unicorn, so that makes his comment even more silly. Remember, he eats Domino's pizza on a regular basis. Team owner Nut and Buttsacks had this to say over their victory over Avoid the Noid this week. Back here getting butt-fucked by the caboose, your worst nightmare, and take down number 1 Avoid the Noid. Once again, having the highest score of the week, I'd say that's pretty impressive for a team that's sitting at the bottom end of the league. Yes, it is. I've taken everything from the Noid this season: wins, draft picks, and dignity. In case you're curious, this is how I roll. The owner of Jack's Jags had this not-so-nice comment to say about our league as a whole. This league is similar to our government. With Biden and the corrupt Dems in charge, do we have any hope? Similarly, with the corrupt media, shady spreadsheets, crooked engineers, defunct lawyers, gay fantasies, and Domino's Pizza, we're all doomed. Couldn't agree more. Following their loss to the Social Justice Warrior and their turning woke, the Booty Lickers had this comment. This feels like the end. I've been beaten by the wokest member of this league. As if having my gender reassigned wasn't bad enough, the Gender Unicorn's non-binary second daughter canceled me for not publicly declaring my unwavering commitment to his/her ideology. As I sit here unemployed, staring at the empty space that my big, beautiful penis used to have, I have to wonder if I have any fight left in me. We're going to have to take today to reflect and decide if it's time to collude to boost another league member with the trade or keep fighting for the winner's bracket. Well, Booty Lickers, that's the decision most of us have to make, as, based off records and standings, everyone except for your worst nightmare has a chance of making the playoffs. Till next week. Finally, your league leader, Avoid the Noid, has this comment about losing 2 in a row. And once again, thank you to Avoid the Noid for sending me the amazing Victory Lap Domino's Pizza. I really appreciate it. My plan to stop my 2-game losing streak is a 3-point plan. First, I'm going to overindulge and eat way too much food to the point where I complain to everyone in my house about how uncomfortable I feel even after I've switched to sweatpants. While overeating, I will simultaneously drink way too much booze to the point where my family becomes annoyed and embarrassed by my drunkenness. And C, I will watch so much football that I ignore everyone in my house, even though my brother and his family drove 750 miles from Florida to visit. Dumbass. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm planning on doing this on Thanksgiving Day. But I'm willing to do this all for my fantasy football team because, as I've been told many times before, fantasy football is all that matters. That is true. That is true. Fantasy football is all that matters, especially this time of year, because who cares about Thanksgiving? There's football on TV. In closing this week, I'd just like to say one more thing. War Damn Eagle. And also, yeah, I did it. I beat the commissioner. Pretty damn happy about that. What I'm not happy about is having to eat this Domino's pizza now that was kindly delivered to me in jest by Avoid the Noid. Really not happy about it, neither is my stomach. I mean, this stuff's almost killed us once already, right? So why do it twice? But like iocane powder, I could probably develop an immunity to it and then use that to my advantage down the road. I'm just not sure how. This is week 12 coming up. There are 3 weeks left in this season, and as I mentioned, almost everyone can still make the playoffs given certain miracles occurring. Most of us are right in the middle and still fighting for those final couple of spots. So don't give up yet. There have been some major trades this week, some today. Already some draft picks getting changed in hands. The trade deadline is coming up, so if you're considering that, having a fire sale of sorts, now is the time to do it. Have a great Thanksgiving. Remember, friends don't let friends eat Domino's Pizza, even if they do sponsor your really bad fantasy football videos. Who puts olives on pizza?